Hi Aquarius, this is going to be your guys' reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Please keep in mind that this is a general reading and that this is not going to resonate for every single Aquarius out there. All right, you guys, I'm going to just shuffle the cards real quick and we will get started with the reading. So be patient with me. I'll be right back. I am so excited to finally announce that I have my own line of candles. If you guys are interested in any of the candles that I've created, please check it out in the description box, as well as using the promo code Shae208. That will give you free shipping above anything that's $50 and up in purchase. If you guys are interested in learning about the significance between each candle, I created a video. Check it out, you guys. Thank you for supporting me, my channel, and my friend. Thank you. Okay. What is going on for the collective of Aquarius at this time? So Aquarius, this feels like a lot going on for you guys at this point in time. So I feel that some of you guys might be going through a form of heartbreak or even maybe rejection, or at least processing heartbreak and rejection. But I'm also just feeling that some of you guys realize this could be a connection that you date, like, I don't know. It's just, Aquarius, this feels like something that had to kind of come to an end. You no longer, I think that for some of you guys in the past, this was something or someone that could have hurt you in a lot of different ways. And I almost get the sense that now that it's kind of over with and it's done, it still has a sting to it, but it's not as painful as it was when you were still in it, if that makes sense. So I feel like a lot of you guys are kind of having to, maybe you lived with this person. This is kind of what I'm feeling. You guys could have lived with somebody and now you had to maybe move or leave a situation. There could have been a splitting of the ways in some way or another. But I do get the feeling of having to, like, you living with somebody or something kind of working out in that way. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, you could have still waited for this person to come back, or you're waiting for something to change in your life. There is this feeling of missing out on an opportunity or missing out on maybe even a genuine connection in some way. But there's definitely something here about looking back in the past and looking at it in a very negative light. You guys are not really seeing any true positive things that came out of this situation, because I just feel like you could have been dealing with somebody who could have lied and deceived you in some way here, Aquarius. And it almost gives me this feeling of maybe you were around somebody who acted like they were with you, or acted like they were, like, say for instance, you're dating somebody, right? You moved in, you live together. This is an example because this is the best way, and this is the energy that I think is the most easiest to pick up. Like, I feel like a lot of Aquariuses would resonate with this one, this timeline at least. But it's like you moved in with somebody, you believed this person, and this person could have been saying to you, like, oh, I'm not seeing anybody else, it's just going to be you and me. Or even if they were, like, seeing other people, like, maybe you were aware of it, right? There could be something here about that. Some of you guys might have even had connections where you knew that this was, like, say, an open relationship. But whatever this was, it was like you were dealing with somebody who kept half-truths from you. So they would say things like, oh, no, we're in a committed relationship. But then they would go, like, text or flirt with other people on the side. But they wouldn't, like, necessarily engage in anything physical, right? So there was kind of like this, I'm cheating on you emotionally and mentally, but I'm not doing anything physically. Or say you guys were in an open relationship and this person would say things like, oh, I'm only seeing this person and that person. But then there were, like, other people they were talking to or other things that they were doing behind the scenes. So you can kind of see what I mean by there is just, like, this sense of maybe being in a relationship with somebody that really could have almost misused your trust or misused something against you in some way or another here, Aquarius. Because there definitely feels like there was a sense of maybe a lack of closure as well in this connection with that star in the reverse. There could be this feeling of lack of closure. And of course, the star card represents Aquarius. And I feel like some of you guys, maybe you just didn't feel like yourselves in this connection. Maybe you felt like this person kind of, it's almost like you had to behave a specific way in order to be loved or seen by this person. Or maybe it's almost like some of you guys couldn't really voice your opinions, a fear of some kind of combative argument. So there was something here, Aquarius, about maybe you guys biting your tongue, not really telling people, or not telling this person how you actually feel in this connection here. Because there was definitely something that was kept hidden from you. Or like I said, they could be talking to you and keeping you informed, but maybe there was like half truths, or half the information was left out, or you just weren't getting the full information that you deserved. And I just get this feeling too that no matter how much effort you put into this, it's just not working out in the way that you wanted it to. So you guys felt like you put all this time and energy into a situation, but you didn't really get out of it what you were hoping you would get out of it in this connection. Like this connection could have still made you happy, but there was something missing in your life. There was something that just didn't feel like this was the person for you, or this situation really wasn't right for you. You had some kind of feeling or a belief, or just something that just felt kind of off to you here, Aquarius. And I feel like you maybe didn't feel that you had the strength to move forward by yourself, or that you didn't know if you could potentially just up and leave. There was something here about having to almost, it was like in order for you guys to, I don't know, Aquarius, it's kind of weird. It's almost like you just felt like you couldn't insert yourself in the relationship. You couldn't really establish your position in this relationship. And that's why I'm saying that there could have been an open relationship, or it could have just been a relationship where somebody ended up getting others involved. And even if say none of those resonated with you, Aquarius, say like you're not in an open relationship, say that didn't happen, this person didn't cheat, then it's just like you felt like their work was more important than you, or you just felt like this person put other priorities above you, Aquarius, and you just kind of felt like you were not being really respected or taken for granted, feeling like this person didn't put you first, or didn't think necessarily about your feelings in the connection. So there was this sense of kind of feeling a little helpless in this state or in this connection, because you felt like you really did care about this person. You could have showed this individual a lot of love and respect, but maybe you guys had to fight for your own opinions, or fight for your own self to be heard. Maybe because this person would always have others around them that would defend them and not you, or you were always just like feeling like you had to defend your side of how you feel, but this person might come at you with different types of lies or different types of things that just really hurt you. And for some of my Aquariuses, it kind of came down ultimately to this decision, but you kind of didn't want this to end. So you decided to continue this relationship, even though this was very painful for you. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here, is with that Strength card, it's like you still found a sense of happiness with this person. You didn't want to leave this individual, but like maybe you're slowly starting to get out the door. Like some of you guys might still be in this connection, but you have like 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You're not all the way committed now, but you're not all the way gone. And maybe, again, it's because you're living with this person. Maybe you have financial ties with this person. Some of you might even have children with this individual. There would have been a lot of fights and disputes if you were to separate. And it's like Some of you guys just feel kind of helpless here, Aquarius. You just feel like you can't really move forward in this connection. But there's definitely this sense of you're not really happy where you are. Like, yeah, you care about this individual, but to what extent are you going to keep staying and wasting your time? And I think that's kind of where you guys are starting to kind of think about, because there's almost this fear of leaving this person, but there's no true stability here if the connection is more or less one-sided. Or again, it's almost the sense of you're not feeling like you can be authentic. That's really what it's coming down to here, Aquarius, is you're just feeling like you cannot be authentic in this connection. And so you're starting to kind of question yourself. You're kind of questioning this person. And it just feels like this, it's like a sticky mess. It just feels like a big mess that in order for you to go either way, it's going to require a lot of energy. It's going to require a lot of worry and thinking about what could potentially go wrong. Okay, you got to get down, bud. So we have here Cancer. So you could be dealing with the Cancer, or you could be dealing with the Pisces here. You guys do not have to be. But these are definitely some energies that is being emitted. Now, of course, you could have both of those in your chart. Again, we all have all 12 zodiacs in our chart, so maybe this is where it's targeting in your chart. But anyway, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're maybe looking, like I said in the past, you could be looking back at points in time that you just feeling like this isn't gonna work or this isn't what it is. Like I said, some of you guys could be living with this person. Your finances could be tied together with this individual. But there's this sense of maybe this person gets really moody or gets really angry at times, or just like maybe has a short temper, or there's something here about maybe feeling very defensive about this person or about you. Maybe you're starting to become that way, Aquarius, because it's almost like there's a situation that's like fizzling out. You know what's kind of weird? The thing that popped into my head is, you know what it's like when you get a soda, right? And you open up your like soda and it's all fizzy, and when you take a sip, it tastes really good. But when it sits for a couple of hours, it starts to go flat. That's kind of how I'm feeling. It's like when you first was in this connection, it was so great. It was really like fizzy and it was fun and bubbly and you enjoyed it. And there seems to be this like hit of like ecstasy, because, you know, when you first take a couple of sips of that first like fresh soda, you know, you kind of get like that hit of like sugar, right? So it feels really good. And then after a while, it fizzes out and it's flat and it's okay, but now it's room temperature and it's not as cold or it's not as good. You know what I mean? It's like you still enjoy it, but it doesn't bring you that joy. It's almost like the relationship, the novelty of the relationship got worn out. There is this sense of boredom almost. And for some of you guys, maybe you're realizing as well with that Neptune is maybe you painted this person to be a specific way. When we first start dating people, right, it's really fun to kind of like, we almost have a tendency of thinking of, oh, this person's like this and this person's like that, and we fantasize and we daydream, but like the reality is that's not who that person really is. It's just projections of what we think they are. And so when we project that onto them, it gets kind of fun because now you see them as this whole bright, amazing person, but maybe we miss the red flags at the beginning of the relationship, or we're not really paying attention to really who they actually are. We just almost get this sense of, oh, I know who they are, or, oh, I feel this person is like this or that. And so we kind of misinterpret people or situations about what's actually going on here. So I am getting this vibe that a lot of you guys are kind of maybe realizing that the type of person that you thought you knew might not actually be that person, right? There's something here about maybe falling in love more with the fantasy than it is the person. And so it kind of creates this veil of confusion around us because we think we know this individual, but when we really stop and think about it, we're like, oh, I really actually don't really know them. Not truly, like, I only know what they want me to see. I only know what they tell me. I only know by their actions. But like in your head, you're looking at this person like, oh, I know them. I've done this and that with them. Or they're so kind and so loving. But like we're overlooking when they're being rude, right? Now, I'm not saying this person's a bad person that you're dealing with, Aquarius, but I don't think that they are necessarily the type of person that you perceive them to be. So there's something definitely here about maybe needing to reevaluate the way you perceive a particular situation or individual. And then here with that trine and the flow, there is this feeling of you guys maybe trying really hard to be this person's rock or this person's support. Maybe you guys were, you got benefits out of this connection as well, right? There's this, and I do feel like with this state of this trine here, it's like maybe realizing the pros and cons of this relationship. Maybe like, why are you, it's almost like here, Aquarius, I feel like you guys are settling. And I feel like you guys are settling because you're still getting benefits from this connection. And I'm also just feeling that this person isn't bad. You're not dealing with a bad person. It's just you're dealing with somebody that maybe is not to your full liking or is who you think they are. So there is this sense of needing to kind of figure out, like, what is it that you really want? Don't settle for things just because it's easy. Don't settle for things just because it benefits you. Sometimes we have to get ourselves out of sticky situations that are okay for now, but in the long run, is it going to hinder you down the line? So there's something here about needing to be a little bit more objective about what it is, how you feel about somebody or situation, because just because, let's say it like this too, I've been seeing a lot of things that say like, just because you've had a relationship for years and it works doesn't mean it's healthy. And it's true, right? Just because the longevity of a relationship, like, oh, I've been with this person for X amount of years and we get along okay, doesn't necessarily mean that that relationship is what is there that's best for you. So there is this sense of maybe really realizing like, how happy are you really, and are you just settling because it's easy? And there's this like the quincunx here for complexity. Wow, that was complicated. There is this sense of maybe like, again, some irritation or some confusion, or again, there's something about this connection. Like I said, it kind of gave me the vibe of like open connection, like an open relationship, or like it's just something about this relationship being kind of complex. And I just feel like there's a lot of ins and outs to this relationship. Maybe there's rules that are like weird rules and rules that are kind of contradicting, or you know what I mean? Like, you know how when some people are like, okay, so this is how I define cheating. And then they say, as long as you're not like kissing them, touching them, doing anything physically inappropriate, that's not cheating. But then like, you'll be like, oh, okay. And so then let's say that you have a friend. You two become a lot more closer emotionally, and this person finds out, and then they get jealous, and then they're like, okay, I don't want you being their friend anymore. And you're like, well, why? I'm just being friends with them. We're not doing anything inappropriate. But this person feels like now you're cheating because now you're getting emotionally invested and you're defending this person, and they don't like that. So you can see how what I mean by like this individual may have some like weird terms and conditions, and that's kind of what I'm feeling with that complexity here, as well as maybe there is this like there's just some kind of clash, or there's something about something just seems to be missing, or something seems to be off. So it's almost like this person sets like boundaries saying, okay, so I can do this, but you can't. You know what I mean? There is like a hypocrisy to this connection. So it's like this person can do that, but you can't do that, but they can do it. You know, it's like, okay, I can't do this, but you can do that. I see. And then they're like, no, it's totally different. And then they go off and they try to explain how it's different to what they're saying that you can't do. So it's kind of crazy here. It's crazy making. This person might have some crazy making tendencies here, Aquarius. And it's just like, is it even worth it at this point? Is it even worth dealing with if you feel like you have to walk on eggshells with someone, if you feel like they have like standards that they can have, but you have other sets of standards that, and here's another thing I'm getting to, Aquarius, is there's something about you will say something like, this is important to me. This is what I want. But then this person might disregard it or say, oh, okay, I understand. That's cool. You can have that, blah, 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 blah. And then they get angry at you later on for wanting that or for having that. But they were okay with it 2 seconds ago. So you see what I'm saying? There's definitely some contrasting and just a little bit of a contradicting energy here. And I just feel like it's stressing you out, Aquarius. And I don't think you guys want to deal with this anymore because I just feel like you guys maybe went with the flow. You guys accepted some of these conditions or you accepted the relationship the way the relationship is, but it's just starting to like wear on you and you're starting to see things that just don't make sense and it's just frustrating. There is a sense of frustration here. And I also see at the bottom of this deck here with that 12th house, there's something here that's going to become more illuminated to you here, especially because we have Neptune and then we have the 12th house and Neptune resides in the 12th. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, there's definitely some kind of subconscious beliefs or some kind of, there's something I feel like that's going to be bubbling up to the surface soon or is going to give you guys kind of this aha moment. It's almost like Aquarius. This is kind of how I'm seeing it, okay? Now, it's like, say for instance, you're hanging out with this person again and you're like dating and you're doing your thing and then they end up saying something and it's almost like the way they say it or the way they do it and the way your mindset is in that moment, right? I have that happen to me sometimes. I'll be hanging out with friends and they'll say something and it's like because of my mind frame or where my mind is in that moment, I can finally see it between the lines. Like I can finally see it for what it is. It's almost like the reality of the situation sinks in. And I feel like that is kind of what's happening here. And then it's like, whoa. I'm now starting to see this differently now. I'm starting to see this. I'm starting to look at you differently now. And there's something here about releasing baggage, releasing emotional baggage. And I feel like, you know, maybe you tolerated this person's BS or you tolerated this person's thing because maybe you felt like you deserved that or you felt like, you know, you couldn't find anybody better than this person. Or again, there's something here about maybe just getting too comfortable. Just getting really comfortable in the dysfunction. And now it's like time for you to be healing. There's something here about maybe even experiencing some forms of guilt, right? But it's like you guys are going to start kind of waking up to something here. Now, the 12th house is all about transcending and letting go and moving on into the next plane of like the universe or existence, right? It's kind of like it's almost like, it's kind of funny because everyone always talks about, Scorpio being the one that's like death, right? And transformation and transcending. But if you really think about it, the 12th house, Pisces, it's like your last breath, right? It's like your last breath on earth. It's like it's like that last little bit and then you're gone. It's kind of like that. And I feel like for some of you guys, it's kind of like this situation is going to really go flat and you're going to say like, whoa, I see it now for what it is, or I'm aware of this now for what this is, and you're just not settling for this anymore. You're not allowing this anymore. There's this, I don't need to put up with this. So I feel like Aquarius, you guys are going to start stepping more into your authenticity, especially when it comes to relationships. I just feel like some of you guys could have just went along to make this person happy because you care about them, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. But when it starts to impede on your own self-worth or what you really need and your needs are not getting met, as well as you're just starting to feel like you're not being seen or being appreciated for yourself, there does come a point where it's like, okay, I have to choose me in this connection. I can't stick around and stay where I don't feel welcomed, or where I don't feel like I'm being respected, or I don't feel like I'm being heard or truly understood in this connection. So you guys are developing wisdom from this, and you know, wisdom comes from experience. And so that's kind of why I hate it when me and everybody else I know beats ourselves up for mistakes, because mistakes eventually become wisdom, right? We have to make certain mistakes in order to gain knowledge. And I feel like for a lot of my Aquariuses, you guys are at this point of gaining a new insight or gaining new knowledge. And it's like you guys are going to be able to use this down the line. It's going to benefit you guys so much more than if you guys, you know, if you haven't had this experience. And we also have your insecurities. So Aquarius, I feel like you guys could have had a lot of insecurities, but I also feel like you and this person could have fed each other's insecurities. And this is why I mean by it was complicated, or it was kind of unhealthy in some degree, because I feel like this person would get very anxious or very jealous and would put down like rules that didn't need to be there, and then you would just follow along because you're okay, like whatever, I'm not gonna want to upset this person. But then they'll do something that makes you insecure, but maybe you were too afraid to voice it, and if you did, maybe they had a problem with it. You know what I mean? So it was like you guys went back and forth with these insecurities and not really knowing why you feel this way or what's stopping you. It's like these insecurities was, I think, what kind of kept you two together. Maybe you both were afraid to see what else was out there. Maybe you were both afraid to let each other go. But there was definitely something here about feeding each other's insecurities. And then we have here rejection. So some of you guys, maybe one of your biggest fears or one of your biggest insecurities is rejection. And I feel like this person could have like, not reject you, I wouldn't say it like that, but would like maybe insinuate a form of rejection. So let's just say like this person is angry and you two get into a fight, right? And this person's like, well, why don't you just leave me? Or why don't I just, you know, maybe I'm just gonna walk out. Like they'll threaten this or they'll threaten that. And it like would feed on this rejection that you had, these insecurities that you had. And so, and maybe this person would kind of like, would reject you, and like, you would want to hug or kiss them, and then they'll be like, no, go away. You know, that could be another form of rejection. So it was like this person would do little tiny things that fed on your insecurities and fear of being abandoned and rejected. So you can kind of see how this relationship over time kind of played out. And it's kind of just like, it's almost to this point where you're like, okay, I'm not growing anymore in this connection. I'm not excelling anymore. And that we got growth. So I feel like a lot of you guys, you're in the process of learning to kind of soothe yourself or learning to regulate your own emotions. You know, you might have relied on this person to make you feel better or to make you feel some kind of sense of security. But now you're kind of coming to this point here, Aquarius, where you're saying, you know, maybe I need to grow up, or maybe I need to grow out of this, because you're starting to see signs, you're starting to see things kind of for what they are, and you're really realizing like, okay, maybe I do need to do this, maybe I should do that. And you're starting to kind of move past this kind of insecurity that you guys are feeling. And so Aquarius, I feel like a lot of you guys are starting to kind of wake up to seeing your own true potential here, because there is this sense of needing to realize that there is room for improvement, there is room for growth, and maybe you feel like you're stifled in this connection now. There's no more room to heal. It's like you've learned all your lessons, you know, and now all it's really asking of you is maybe to take that time to work through your insecurities. We also have here discovery. So you guys could have discovered new things about yourself in this connection as well. I feel like this connection was a bittersweet connection. I feel like you two needed each other at the time that you two needed each other. I think you two helped each other grow, but then it became kind of toxic, and it became kind of it's almost like you guys got too comfortable with one another. And there was this sense of now it's time to move forward. Like your soul is calling you into a different direction, or you're feeling like you need to go in a different direction. And you're like, I don't know what to do though, because it's like, if I stay, I feel like it's stifling me, but if I go, then I don't know what's gonna happen. So there's these worries and these fears and these insecurities, that are kind of coming up to the surface here, Aquarius. And I feel like you guys are kind of on that verge of kind of like healing and working through that. And I feel like here with this trickery card at the bottom of the deck, you could have felt kind of tricked or stupid because maybe at one point, Aquarius, maybe you caught this person in a lie, or you eventually find out the truth about a connection. And it's telling you to not beat yourself up over that, because I feel like that was a part of your journey. That was a part of you learning this wisdom. And that was a part of you also realizing your insecurities and realizing where you can improve upon that. So there's something here about not taking it too personally, Aquarius, whatever this trickery was, however this relationship is coming to an end. It's almost like saying to you that this was a thing that was kind of meant to teach you. It was meant to show you. You could have been around somebody who gossiped a lot, who lied a lot, who didn't want to, and I don't know. I'm just saying you could have been around somebody who would be in other people's business, right? Or would allow other people in your business. So this person could just be really social and likes to talk to everybody. And that could have been another thing that really could have hindered this connection as well. But I just feel like a lot of you guys have kind of persevered through this, and you just dealt with the punches. You just went with the flow. You guys just kind of was along for the ride, but you guys are kind of come to this realization that, like, oh, I'm stuck. I don't want to be here anymore. I was just going with the flow, enjoying my time, having a good time. And now it's like this, it's like you're stalked, you're blocked. Some of you guys maybe put a lot of your time and energy into work anyways too. So maybe you guys would work a lot and then come home to this person gossiping about, oh, did I tell you about what so-and-so said and this and that? And it's like, okay, and you didn't mind it, but now it's starting to become to the point where maybe you're now the center point of the gossip or the attention. But it's like you're realizing that you were maybe in here, Aquarius, maybe you both were wearing a facade. Maybe both of you came into this connection with your own personal agendas. And that could just be you wanting to be loved, right? But it's like a personal thing here. And I just feel like the both of you guys had a part to play in this connection, but it's at the point where it's like, okay, now I need to change my perception about relationships. Now I need to change my perception about this situation, because some of you guys, you're allowing guilt, you're allowing your guilt, you're allowing these insecurities to keep you guys stuck. And again, like I said, something about the relationship being bittersweet. I feel like it is a bittersweet connection, and it's calling for you guys to take that time to heal, to work through it, to allow yourself to grieve the connection you're losing. But it's okay, because in the end of it all, I feel like this is all divine and perfect timing. This is what you guys needed to go through. This is what you guys needed to experience. And I feel like, Aquarius, there's something here about saying, just really trusting your own intuition at this time and letting go of any types of, don't beat yourself up, Aquarius. And that's really what I'm wanting to get at here. But I just feel like this is a connection where it's like two people have finally just can't really, I'm not saying that it can't work out, but I just feel like you two kind of almost ran its own course. Like I said, it's like the soda is flat, and room temperature, and it's not as good and not as enjoyable. And there's something here about just needing to take that time to maybe look back and see where you could have made mistakes, where they could make mistakes, and learn from it and heal from it and move forward with the understanding that, this person deserves better, you deserve better. And if, say for instance, you don't want to hurt this person's feelings for leaving them. But if you were to stay and you know that you're not meant for them, you're almost robbing them of finding somebody better, or you're robbing yourself as well of finding somebody that's a better partner. So it's almost like sometimes we have to make these hard decisions or these hard calls to like leave or to go somewhere else, but in the long term, it would actually benefit both parties, even if it doesn't feel that way in the moment. So that's kind of what I'm getting here, Aquarius. So I'm just going to pull the last messages here from the Tea Leaf Oracle deck, just to kind of see like any additional messages here for my Aquariuses. But man, this is kind of a heavier energy. I just feel like a lot of you guys were just dealing with a connection that brought you a lot of joy at one point. You two, I feel like, did need each other. And I just feel like you guys are both going to learn from this experience, like the both of you. And I don't know. I just feel like this was not an easy thing for my Aquariuses to go through. So let's see what's going on for my Aquariuses. Let's get the last additional messages. You know, this card comes up a lot. Be careful, do not take risks. So I get this sense here, Aquarius, that maybe you need to be a little more cautious, like when it comes to dealing with this person. Like, say for instance, if you're wanting to leave this connection, Aquarius, I'm not saying be sneaky and like backslide and just like completely blindside this person, but maybe be a little bit careful. Like, don't be too risky. Be strategic on how you're going to leave the connection. Because let's say if you're living with this person and say you are financially tied down with this person, you can't just take risks and just up and leave. You need to make sure you have enough savings. You need to make sure that you have the right type of situation. Like, get your ducks in a row before just like upping and leaving this person, right? We also got here Camel, persevere and you will overcome problems. So you're definitely needing to make sure that you are getting yourself ready here. I just feel like that. We also have, if you feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. Yep. And we have younger woman, dealing or relationship with a younger woman. That could be your guys' situation. Or say they're dealing with a younger woman or you're dealing with a younger woman, right? I don't know. Or just, even if this, say if you two are like a lot older, maybe this person just has a lot of youthful, young energy. Maybe they're being childish, right? We don't know. Quill, get back to the basics. So getting back down to kind of what matters to you, right? What works for you, as well as just like getting back down to, it's almost like the basics of how you perceive this relationship. You know, maybe like I said, maybe you painted this person out to be a specific way. Maybe getting caught up in the fantasy, and it's like now getting back to the basics, going back to what you actually know about this person and not just like the imagination. We have here broken ring, unsuccessful outcomes to a problem. Yeah, and then at the bottom of the deck here, we also have dagger, fear, worries, tense situations. And then I just feel like you guys are kind of dealing with a tense situation, and it's just kind of like you don't really know what to do. There's definitely this sense of worrying and stressing, maybe financially, maybe in love, right? With that barrel, maybe you feel like you're lacking in all three. Maybe you feel like you're lacking in love, money, and goals. And it's needing to get kind of clear with yourself here, Aquarius. You know, you guys need to learn to be more authentic. So here's the thing. Earlier in the connection or in the video, I said you felt like you couldn't be authentic with this person. But do you even know what is authentic to you? So there's something about getting back to the basics of who you are and where exactly, Aquarius, do you need to improve upon yourself or let go, right? Sometimes we are authentic on our core level. We are all authentic at a core level. But what happens is we have people, life experiences, certain beliefs, certain things that people have said to us that we accepted as truths, or that we accepted as is, or that, you know, we just adopted at our own, and then it kind of starts to stick on us, and over time we lose that sense of that core authentic self. So it's kind of like, maybe Aquarius, this connection is going to kind of help you see where you're being false, where you're not being truthful, where are you not being real with yourself. And I feel like I said, this is kind of like a mutual thing that you're both learning from each other, as well as I did feel like at one point you both needed each other in this connection. So as difficult as this reading is, and how sad this reading can be, I just want to send all of my Aquarius's love and all the support, especially if this resonates with you guys, because this is not an easy thing, right? Especially when we love people and we care about them. And sometimes we have to let go of the people that we love and the people that we care about. But I just feel like a lot of you guys are on this verge of kind of, like I said, having one foot in, one foot out in this connection. A lot of you guys are starting to see the connection for what it is. And I just feel like a lot of you guys are in this process of healing and working through this. So that's what I have for my Aquariuses. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great and wonderful day, Aquarius. Thank you. Bye.